Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about, is he the right one for you? So let's get right to it. I'm gonna give 9 points that you can use as a guide to know if he's the right one for you. The first one is, does he love God? That's the first thing. That's the most important thing, because I don't see how it's gonna be easy for you to submit to a man that doesn't submit to God. A lot of people stress about how difficult it is to submit, especially for someone who. But think about it. If you're submitting to a man that is submitted to God, in the real sense of it, you're submitting to God, because as you're looking at the man, you're seeing God behind him. So you're literally submitting to God, to his will as it relates to that man. So it makes everything easy. And also, marriage is hard. Marriage is not a walk in the park. Marriage can be enjoyed, it can be enjoyed. But doing it with someone who doesn't love God just makes everything a little more complicated, because, God created marriage. God is the author of marriage. Let me just give you an example. You buy a nice fancy phone, let's say an Apple iPhone, and you want to use that phone, and while using the phone, you run into an issue. Who you gonna call? Apple. The person you will call is Apple customer care line, or you go back to your manual without calling Apple customer care, which are the people that produce that phone, or reading the manual that the producers, the manufacturers, printed as your guide. There's no way to fix that phone. There's no other way. You have to if you take it to like third-party fixers, they will probably ruin the phone the more, especially if it's a phone you bought expensive and you bought it brand new. You're going to want to take it back to Apple, because they're the ones that manufacture the phone, so they know how to fix it. That's exactly how marriage is. God is the creator of marriage. Nobody knows marriage better than God. Nobody knows how to fix marriage better than God. So who would you go to if you marry someone that doesn't love God? Where would you begin? Who would you run to help you fix your issues? What Bible would you read as your manual? So that's that's the most important factor. And then, does his love remind you of God? This is another very important one. A lot of people see things that look like love. There are so many things that look like love out there: infatuation, lust. But the love that is for you is the one that reminds you of God's love. The love that you sit down and you're like, God, so you love me like this. God, your love. When you taste God's love, when you experience God's love, you'll be like, man, I do not want anything less than this. When you partake in the unmerited and beautiful love of God, you understand, So that love, as a woman, does it remind, because the Bible says that a man will love you. That is powerful. Then the Bible went on to define what love is. Bible defined what love is. Love is kind, love is patient, all of that in the book of Corinthians. Can you really put your man's name and say, Eric is patient, Eric is kind? Can you really do that? Try that and see, do they fit into that? Because Bible said that a man will love like as Christ loved the church. That is a huge responsibility that God placed on men. He even went further to tell them that if they don't live with their wife in understanding, that he will not answer their prayers. You see how powerful that is? That is really, 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 really powerful. The Bible said that, that the man should love his wife like he loved the church. Christ died for the church. God sent his only son to die. So like his love has to remind you of that kind of love. Someone that can literally die to self. Someone that can literally love you, You know what I mean? So yes, think about that and make sure that that's the kind of love that you're gravitating towards. Does his love give you peace? There's some people that will tell you, I love you, I love you, I love you, but whenever you're around them, it's just too much stress. It's just it's just stressful. They are stressing you. Either they are too possessive, or they are just, I don't know. So that love has to give you peace. For me personally, God speaks to me through peace. If I don't have peace about a certain situation or decision, something, I know that God doesn't want me to be in that thing. Our God is not an author of confusion. He's a God of peace, shalom. So that relationship, if it's exuding peace, then that's probably the one for you. And also, can you submit to his leadership? This is very important. This is also very important, because people say, oh, submission is hard. It's because the man that you married is not someone you want to submit to, period. The man that you're with is, you just don't think he's good enough for you to submit to him. That's again why God instructed that a man should love. God did not say that men should demand submission from the woman. God actually intended for a man to love you into submission. Nobody can show me a woman that is properly loved as God instructed and she doesn't submit. That's impossible. That's impossible. Submission becomes easy when love exists. Love in its truest form. So make sure that this is someone that you feel like, you can submit to their leadership. Someone that you trust their leadership. A man that is wise. Again, that's a man that is submitted to God. That's a man that is working in his purpose. That's a man that taps his wisdom from God. Such man, is worthy of your submission. And then also, what kind of family is he from? This is also very important because, like they say, it's easier to marry a bad spouse than to marry into a bad family. So this is very important. Do not ignore this. If you're trying to marry someone and someone in that family is saying they don't like you, they don't want you, make sure you get to the root of it. Make sure you understand what. Make sure you don't ignore it, because a little thing like this before marriage can grow and become something big after marriage. There's some people say, oh, his family is not important, her family is not important. No, the family is very, very important, because this is the people that, if you have issues, you run into problems, that's who you're going to go to. That's who your child is going to be born. That's the family your child is going to be born into. When you have kids, that family, that's where your child will have cousins, uncles, aunties. So are these the kind of people that you're going to be proudly wanting to associate with? Think about those things. Do your investigations. Are they diabolic? Do they believe in God? Things like that. Do they like you? Are you welcome there? Those are things that, you want to think about. Then, this is also about the family. Do they love and accept you? Very, very important. Very, very important. Make sure that whoever you're in a relationship with is someone that his family accepts you. They love you for who you are. Okay? With or without him. I've seen people that get married 6 months after their spouse passes. You're stuck with that family. If you were pregnant or you had a child, that your children are stuck with that family. In the absence of your spouse, can that family still be there for you? Can they still love you? Can they still accept you? Or are they tolerating you just because your husband to be said, this is my wife, you guys have to love her? Is that the reason? Are they tolerating you, or do they really like you? Those are two different things. This is very important because marriage brings two families together. Marriage brings two families together. So it's very important that they accept you, that you're okay with their values, you're okay with their culture, because you're living your own life. Everything you've known as a person, you've grown up to know something completely different, and now you're entering a whole new different thing, new culture, new everything. So make sure this is a family that you're okay with. Okay, make sure this is a family that you're proud to, have children into. Does your values align? This is also very important. Think about your values. Think about financially. What are your financial goals? Some people want to live in a particular country. That's their goal. So when you're getting married, make sure you're talking to them about that country that you want to live in. Make sure you guys are agreeing on something like that, because after marriage, things like that can cause issues. Some people are good savers. Some people are big spenders. Think about your values. Some people believe in focusing on smart children. Some people believe in raising godly children. Some people don't. Some people believe that the boy child should not do chores. It should be only the girl child. Things like that can cause conflict in marriage. So make sure that you two have the same values, or at least, you can work together. And then the last but not the least, and one of the most important one, is he kind? This is one that I cannot even, I don't know, this is just very, very important. A kind person is very important, because in marriage, there's going to be conflict. There's going to be times when you're struggling to even like each other. You go from love to like, and even in that likeness, you're struggling. But a kind person will still be kind to you, love or no love. You know what I'm saying? So there will be conflict, but a kind person will still treat you with kindness because that's who they are. Watch how they treat the people around them. Watch how they treat your family. Watch how they treat their family. Watch how they treat the waiters when you guys go on a date. Watch how they treat their drivers. Watch how they relate with their co-workers. Watch how they deal with stress. Watch how they act when they are upset. Watch how they react in conflict. All of this will tell you how kind a person is. This is very, very important because, marriage, you guys are going to go through so much together. Marriage is deep. There's going to be, crises here and there. When children come in, it's going to shake the marriage, but kindness will help you. So this is very important. I hope this helps someone. I'm going to make another video because, I don't like my videos being too long. So I'm going to make another video saying this one is going to be, is she the right one for you? So if you like this video, like it, subscribe, and thank you for watching.